Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett. Thank you for joining us today. We have a great show for you, and we are starting off. I'd like to introduce you to Michelle Dietz. She's the owner of Wisconsin Cutlery and Kitchen Supply. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming here on the show and excited to talk to you about sharpening and retail. And what would you say is the number one thing that people bring into your store?
The number one thing that brings
Sure.
people into the store is their need to have their things sharpened.
Right.
So they're bringing me their knives, they're bringing me scissors, they're bringing me garden tools.
Garden tools.
The sharpening services is the number one thing that brings people into the doors. We can do everything from kitchen knives. Hunting season was just a little while ago, and
Sure.
we did a lot of hunting knives for the deer hunters. Sewing scissors, household scissors, but then axes, machetes, shovels, hoes, loppers, pruners, an occasional scythe. I really never know what's going to walk in the door, and yeah.
Very cool. Interesting stuff. I would never have thought of different gardening tools, but I suppose those need to be sharp as well to be at their kind of peak performance as
Yep.
well. And now you guys sell a lot of different kitchen gadgets and supplies. What would you say is the most important one?
A good 8-inch chef's knife.
Okay.
You can get crazy with the gadgets, and we've got a lot of options.
Sure.
But 80% of all your breakdown tasks and stuff are going to be done with a good 8-inch chef's knife. So helping somebody select a good one that's going to last them decades is probably the most important part of my job. And not just giving them what they ask for,
Right.
but going and making sure that they're holding it correctly, that they understand how to approach the things that they're cutting in a safe and efficient manner.
What is that selection process like in selecting the correct knife for you?
Well, I talk to them about what they're using right now,
Sure.
because that's going to inform me a lot about what their expectations are.
Sure.
I make sure they're using the right knife. I talk to a lot of people who are dicing onions with boning knives and paring knives, and,
Right.
then I want to take it back and just kind of make sure that they understand the basics.
Right.
But then, not a Japanese blade is going to be very sharp and hold its edge absolutely beautifully, but it's not right for everybody. So kind of get an understanding about their cooking, their lifestyle, what their expectations are, and then let them feel a number of knives.
Right.
And see what their comfort level is and what they like and dislike, and kind of make the selection be very personalized.
Yeah.
One size does not fit all.
Right. And I would think too, maybe for people who are just getting into cooking, you don't want to go from a level 1 to a level 20 expert knife that maybe takes a little bit more finesse and is a little bit more, maybe just takes more experience to use correctly.
It's like putting a new driver in a Ferrari.
Right. With the stick shift.
Yeah. You do want to work through the basics. Make sure that they're not holding it far back on the handle or have that finger on top. You want to make sure that they're going to be in control of that blade if you're putting a very sharp blade in their hands. So
You want to know how to use it.
Exactly. It's an important process.
Now, do you guys only sell knives?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No, we have a good selection of knives, but we also sell cookware and kitchen gadgetry, and we have a selection of salts, and we have, storage contain, all sorts of things, ancillary.
Sure.
The knives are probably the most important, but we have a number of other things for cooks too.
Now, you seem very knowledgeable. What would you say is your favorite part interacting with your customers?
I get a really wide variety of customers. There are people that walk in. We have a number of professional chefs that shop with us.
Sure.
And I learn a lot from them. Mm-hmm. And then we have another number of people who know very little to nothing about cooking. And I get to teach. I get to teach about seasoning cast iron. I get to teach about, how to preheat your, I get to teach a lot of kitchen basics, and it's really enjoyable to see the light go on in somebody's eyes and know that you're not just pulling something off the wall and putting it in their bag and sending them on their merry way, but
very cool.
That a conversation you had is actually going to change how they function on a daily basis and how they enjoy the meals they have with their families.
Now, quick before we go here, I want to mention that your store has been here for a while.
9 years.
I know you're the new owner.
I am.
So let's touch on that.
I am. The store was opened 9 years ago by Bill Peterson.
Sure.
And I was a good customer from the very beginning, but a little over 5 years ago, I started working there and called it my fun job.
Awesome.
And did worked with him side
Right.
by side for over 5 years, and he was ready to retire and was either going to sell the store to somebody who didn't sharpen
Right.
or close the store altogether, and neither of those was an acceptable option. So I took over at the end of last March, and
Awesome.
it's been continuing on ever since.
Great to have you there now. Be sure to check them out. Again, Wisconsin Cutlery.
Easy
There
for
we
you
go.
to say.
And Kitchen Supply. Michelle Dietz, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Ellen.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this.
This celebrity interview is brought to you by Environment Control.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ellen Barrett. Thank you for joining us today. And if you haven't bought all of your gifts yet, like me, it's time to get busy. Our next guest says it's okay to procrastinate, as there are still plenty of good deals and great buys available. Joining us today is Claudia Lombana, a nationally respected consumer shopping specialist who is also a 2-time Emmy winner and a Peabody Award-winning journalist. Claudia, thank you for joining us today.
Gracias, feliz de estar acá con ustedes.
Now, why can procrastinating be a good thing for some shoppers?
Todavía no es muy tarde para hacer las compras. Los minoristas mayores todavía están ofreciendo rebajas. También tenemos el viernes, el 16 de diciembre, es el día de envíos gratis o Free Shipping Day, como se llama en inglés, donde vamos a encontrar ofertas en línea con casi todos los minoristas que venden en línea, donde van a poder hacer compras y te los van a enviar gratis y van a llegar para el 24 de diciembre.
Now, what is a can't-miss last-minute gift?
Para mí, una de las cosas favoritas que me gustan es dar películas, porque las puedo dar a un adulto o a un niño. Y este año tenemos las películas de Disney. De Disney nos están trayendo todos los títulos mayores de Disney, incluso Star Wars, The Force Awakens, Marvel, Captain America, Civil War, Finding Dory de Pixar, y también las películas clásicas de Disney como Snow White y Beauty and the Beast. Se van a encontrar en oferta especial desde ahora hasta el 24 de diciembre. Van a encontrarlas con minoristas mayores y también se pueden encontrar en línea.
Now, what is an affordable tech gift that everyone can use?
Una de las cosas favoritas que me gustan para los electrónicos no es un electrónico, por cierto, pero es una protección para el celular. Todos tenemos celulares, todos los queremos proteger. Este año de Verizon tenemos el LifeProof Free. Es una cubierta protectora para el celular, para los aparatos móviles, y te va a proteger sobre daños de agua y también caídas. Si se te cae el teléfono desde 4 pies, te lo va a proteger. Con el agua puedes sumergir el teléfono hasta 6 pies de profundidad por 1 hora. Con el LifeProof Free te lo va a proteger y va a traer varios colores para varios modelos de teléfonos. Otra vez, si lo compras en Verizon, te van a dar una oferta de 1 año gratis, total protección.
Now, how about a practical last-minute gift for the home?
Para la casa todos queremos estar cómodos en la casa, ¿cierto? Entonces tenemos un termostato inteligente, se llama el ecobee 3, y con el ecobee 3 podemos calentar o refrescar la casa usando una aplicación que se baja en el teléfono celular. El ecobee 3 puede hacer medidas de temperatura y también de cuántas personas hay en cada cuarto en tu casa para que puedas calentar o refrescar la casa eficientemente, y te va a ahorrar hasta el 23% en las cuentas de energía también con el ecobee 3.
Now, any suggestions for gifts for your coworkers?
A veces puede ser un poco de trabajo encontrar regalos para los colegas o los compañeros del trabajo, pero los investigadores en el Deloitte Greenhouse Experience Team nos están ayudando este año con 4 personalidades de negocio. O sea, de pronto no sabes qué comprarle a un colega, pero ellos te van a dar ideas basado en el tipo de negociante que es tu colega o tu compañero de trabajo. Si son pioneros, si son conductores, guardianes o integradores, te van a dar diferentes ideas de qué puedes comprar para cada personalidad en tu oficina. En Deloitte hasta tú puedes tomar un examen para determinar qué tipo de química negociante tienes tú en Deloitte. Y todo se puede encontrar en tipsontv.com.
Now, how do you feel about giving gift cards, and are there any deals you can share with us?
Yo creo que las tarjetas de regalo son un regalo excelente. Mucha gente las quiere. El 56% de consumidores las van a regalar este año. Una súper buena idea, especialmente para los que estamos esperando hasta el último minuto a hacer compras.
Claudia Lombana, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Gracias a ustedes. Feliz Navidad.
We'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this on Wisconsin's 57.
This celebrity interview is brought to you by Environment Control.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town. With me now, I have Melissa Oshard-Schultz, and she's with Schultz Nonprofit Law. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, my pleasure.
And you're the founding attorney over there, so excited to have you here. And I want to know more about what your firm does.
Well, as our name says, we work with nonprofits,
Sure.
and which is everything from the startup to taking them down to everything in between.
Why would you say a nonprofit needs a lawyer?
Well, nonprofits are actually businesses, right?
Right.
I think some people miss that point, and
Right.
they're heavily regulated businesses. So we like to think, if you talk to us up front, that it's just a whole lot easier, and that you don't really then need a lawyer on the other end. Unfortunately, that's usually or can be the trade-off, and we.
Sure.
Easy for us to say, but we think if you do it right up front, it's a lot easier. None of it's hard. It's just you kind of need to know what you're doing, need to get off to a good start.
And that's one of the things I found the most interesting with nonprofits is people just assume it's easy just to start an organization. But really, there are so many qualifications and different things that you need to do because you're a nonprofit, which I would think if you want to focus on maybe the good that your organization is doing would be really hard to do both. So it's great that you offer those services and
Right.
leave the fun stuff to them, right?
That's exactly what we try to say. That's why we got into it.
Right.
I'm one of those nerds that liked tax law, liked the corporate law, and
Sure.
I thought, let us do what we do best so that you can do
Absolutely.
the frontline community work.
What's the most surprising question that you get from clients?
It's amazing. People who've been running organizations for a long time still think that nonprofit means no profit.
Right.
I get people, and that's a good perspective, in that you should use most of your funding, in a given year to try to accomplish your mission. But
Right.
sometimes you're saving something up to build a building or to do, a bigger project or have reserves in case something happens. So nonprofit does not mean no profit. It means that there's no owner that takes the profit at the end of the year, that
Right.
it goes back into the organization.
That's a great point, and I think a lot of viewers will maybe be surprised to hear that as well, because it's different than maybe what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And what's the biggest trend you're seeing in your field?
Clearly, the biggest trend is the mission-driven businesses. So people who want to accomplish a social good, but with a business strategy.
Right.
But sometimes that's a nonprofit activity. It actually could qualify as one, and oftentimes it's not. But as we always say, you only pay taxes, right, if you make profit. So
Right.
that's usually good news. So
Right.
I encourage people not to be scared of going the business route if that's the best way to accomplish their mission. So, and sometimes it's a combination. We'll set up both at the same time.
Very cool. And what should somebody do if they want to start a nonprofit organization and maybe they don't know where to start? It's a big undertaking, I'm guessing.
Call us.
Right.
Is one way of doing it. We usually give the first 30 minutes away or so.
Awesome.
But basically what's required is getting a board of directors, which here in Wisconsin is 3 people, at least 3 people.
Sure.
Not all your family, preferably. If you want to avoid conflicts of interest.
Right.
You form a corporation at the state level. You have to get recognized. It's called being recognized as tax exempt by the IRS. That's usually to be what we call a 501c3. That's a
Right.
charitable organization. And then various steps about getting up and running. One of the pieces we often talk to people a lot about, because I've been doing this for 20 years and
Sure.
have a lot of experience in it, is about fundraising and how to, and unfortunately we see a lot of people, I think, who think all we have to do is get a name and a mission and get the IRS to recognize us, and then the funding will come.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes the legal piece is the easiest part, right?
Right.
We can get the paperwork done and get you off to a good start, but then it's really being really clear about what your mission is and how you'll accomplish that goal, and getting other people to believe in that who can support you.
Absolutely.
Or people, organizations, government, whatever.
Right. And quick before we go here, I just want to know, how did you come to specialize in working with nonprofits?
I always had an interest in the community. When I was in college, I helped start a public service center that's much
Very
like
cool.
the Morgridge Center here. Done a lot in the community, here in Madison. And so when I was practicing law, I was able to see that I could combine both my interest in the law with my interest in the community and try to hopefully make a difference.
Incredible stuff. I appreciate you being here today. Again, Melissa with Schultz Nonprofit Law, thank you for being here.
Great, thanks for the opportunity.
And we'll be back with more Talk of the Town right after this. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. With me now, I have a face you'll probably recognize. We've had you on the show a couple of times now. This is Adam Soderson. He's with the Clean Lakes Alliance. Thanks for being
Hey,
with us
great to
today.
thanks for having us back.
Great to have you here. And we're talking about an upcoming event called Frozen Assets. And I want to know all about this event, what it's all about.
So this is a huge community event. This is going to be the third year we've had this really popular family-friendly free event at the Edgewater on Lake Mendota. And really what we're trying to do is get the community involved in the lakes in the winter. A lot of people use them in the summer. They'll swim, they'll boat, they'll hang out at the beach. But strangely enough, there's a lot of people who live in Madison and southern Wisconsin who have never been on a frozen lake in the winter, and which is crazy. And
I think I fall in that category.
It's fun. You'll have to come on down. And the fun thing is there's so many things to do. So it's a 3-day festival, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Here's the really good thing. February 3rd, no school for Madison School District.
Oh, perfect.
So parents are going to be looking maybe for something to do with their kids, or
Awesome.
grandparents with their grandkids. But there's free ice skating, there's free hot chocolate, there's free sleigh rides, there are a free ice science lab where you can learn about the ice. There's indoor activities like face painting and coloring and kids movies. It's just a really good interactive event for all sorts of families.
Now, do you have to have kids to come with?
You do
Can
not have to have
adults just come
kids.
play?
Anybody can come play.
Okay.
It's really fun, right? Exactly. It's engaging for the whole community. And actually, new this year, we have 3 events. There's going to be a fat bike race on Friday night
cool.
on the ice on a lit course, which will be really cool. Either a 4-mile or a 12-mile race. And then Saturday, there's going to be a snowshoe run. And then also on Saturday, we're having our amateur ice fishing derby. So this is teams of 2. Just amateurs can come down and they fish in the morning, and it's just sort of a total weight of panfish, but a great way to just get involved, sort of bring people in from all over the community. And then something we're really excited about, on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have a Kites Over Mendota. So these large, really like professional kite flyers are going to bring their 6-foot, 8-foot kites down and fly them up. Really colorful. Everyone will really like to see that.
Wow, such a fun event, and this helps the lakes too, correct? So how do events like this help the lakes?
So we have some really great sponsors. Our title sponsors are C.G. Schmidt Construction, Hovde Properties, Lands End Business Outfitters, and Spectrum Brands, and of course the Edgewater is our hosting sponsor. These companies and then a whole host of other sponsors help fund the event, and then the money that's also raised from it goes directly to projects that we do throughout the year. Removing phosphorus, of course, as we said before, is our number one goal, which is going to make the lakes clearer. But this money also funds great projects like some kids camps that the boys and girls attend. It funds some science talks that we have every month at the Edgewater to help get the community more involved. So it really does help fund the mission of what Clean Lakes Alliance is all about.
Now there's a nighttime fundraiser too, correct? Tell me about that.
Very popular nighttime fundraiser. This is the 6th year, I believe, we've done that. Already sold out, believe it or not. We have around 750 to 800 people come. It's at the Edgewater. It's a real fun time. Anybody who is interested in it, to get tickets ahead of time for 2018, I can't believe I'm already talking about 2018.
That is insane.
If you become a friend of Clean Lakes at just $35, you get early access to purchase those tickets. But this year we were already sold out, which it just shows the popularity of this. But again, a great way to just raise money and raise awareness for the lakes.
So now what happens if it comes time for the event and there's not any ice?
Here's the fun thing. As long as they have been keeping track of ice freezing in the state in Madison, all 165 years, the lake has always frozen. It has never not frozen.
Cross your fingers,
Cross my
knock on
fingers,
wood.
right. But the thing is even there's been late freeze dates. It's been February. It's been really late, but we've always had a freeze in some form or another. And if for some reason, this is the year the lake doesn't freeze, there's great activities at the Edgewater between the ice skating and there's some kids activities. There's all sorts of stuff we can do on land. We can do snowman building. We can do fun stuff if we can't be on the ice. But knock on wood again, I think we'll be out there. It's been cold this week.
So now, if people are interested in taking a guess on when the lake is going to freeze, I hear there's a contest.
There is. MendotaFreeze.org. It's totally free to enter. You can be any age, you can guess, and it's sort of your armchair climatologist. When you think it's going to freeze, it's been really cold. The ice has been creeping lately. The median freeze date is actually today, December 20th.
Really?
This is the average freeze date. It is not frozen yet, though, so I'll tell you that. Last year, we didn't freeze until around January 11th or 12th, I think.
Wow.
But believe it or not, the state climatology department, they help us, and it's old rudimentary things on whether you can paddle a paddle boat between Picnic Point and Maple Bluff to deliver a case of beer, because this was how they used to do it in the mid-1860s. So they still use that as a visual site on when the
Wow.
lake is frozen.
The more you know.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Again, Adam Soderson, he's with the Clean Lakes Alliance. Be sure to check out the Frozen Assets event that's coming up in February. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for
today.
having us.
And thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for watching today. You can find us next time only on Talk of the Town on Wisconsin's 57.